Imagine stepping into a city designed not by uh, history or politics, but by pure, elegant engineering logic.
A place where the main goal is just efficiency and, well, human flourishing.
Exactly. And where the idea of a classified document is just obsolete.
Yeah.
Where you go to get something, and the biggest surprise is that nothing, not a single thing has a price tag.
That is the radical vision we are plunging into today. We're taking a deep dive into the source material for the circular cities.
Which were conceived by the futurist Jacques Fresco as like the cornerstone of his Venus project.
Yeah.
So our mission today isn't just to list off the buildings. It's to really uncover the essence, the outlook, and the truly revolutionary social philosophy behind this whole megastructure.
It's so much more than architecture. You have to see it as a blueprint for a new civilization, one that's built from the ground up on the idea of a resource-based economy.
Okay, so to understand that, we need to go step by step through the structure. You have to ask, why is it circular? What does that layout actually enable?
I think the best place to start is right at the heart of the complex, the center of the circle.
Right, and this hub is split into two really integral parts. There's what's happening above ground, and then what's happening just beneath it.
And the above ground part is where the social revolution, really takes shape, specifically inside the information hub.
This information hub is essentially the city's brain. It's a space with these user-friendly digital stations that offer knowledge shared instantly between all cities all over the globe.
Yeah, we're talking about real-time, daily updated info straight from specialists. It completely eliminates the delays and filters we're used to with news and education.
And the insight there is pretty profound. The source material basically rejects the idea that information should be scarce.
Mm-hmm. Because these cities exist in a system with no separate countries, no states, the whole historical reason for secrecy just disappears.
So why would you hoard knowledge that could, I don't know, save the planet or cure a disease?
You wouldn't. That's the core assumption we have to grapple with. It's the total elimination of competitive nationalism.
So because universal benefit is the main driver, the need for classified documents for secret services, it vanishes. People would rather share information for everyone's benefit.
And that shared knowledge, it isn't just theoretical. It gets channeled directly into action at the forum, which is also in the city center.
This is a large area for presenting and discussing ideas, for innovation, for optimization. It's kind of like governance without politicians.
Right, which says a lot about the culture they're envisioning. Public issues aren't debated in these endless, adversarial political cycles.
No, they're addressed and solved right there with help from specialists, from domain experts.
And since everyone is taught to be a problem solver in their field, not just an order follower long-term, evidence-based solutions are reached pretty quickly.
The mechanism for change is the critical part. If an idea is accepted as beneficial, it gets implemented as soon as possible. It immediately replaces the outdated process.
There's no bureaucratic lag time. That constant, rapid evolution is just baked right into the city's management.
It's a meritocracy of ideas.
Yeah.
But all of that decision-making, that societal engine, it needs perfect physical support. And that brings us beneath the surface.
Exactly. Let's talk about the silent, beating heart of the city.
Right.
So beneath that central complex, you have the core mainframe computer, the sophisticated engine room of the whole thing.
And this isn't just a big server. This system monitors and maintains all of the city's supporting subsystems.
And when we say all, we mean all of it. Real-time resource management, clean air and water supply, the electrical grid, waste disposal, recycling.
Internet access, infrastructural integrity, all the public transportation logistics, everything.
The key here is redundancy and efficiency. It's all driven by technology. State-of-the-art sensors are placed everywhere.
So they signal faults, malfunctions, even just inefficient usage. And then countermeasures are taken almost instantly.
Which allows for maintenance and repairs to be done mostly by machines, with very little human intervention.
That sounds like true automation. But it brings up a huge question. If the entire city is monitored by this one single centralized mainframe, what happens if it fails? What's the fail-safe?
That's an excellent point, and the source material does address it.
Yeah.
While the mainframe is central for monitoring, the actual infrastructure is distributed.
Okay.
The support grids power, water, transport, they're all situated along the city's radials and around the districts, corresponding with easy access tunnels.
So the circular design itself is part of the solution.
It is. The structure forms this connective net. So the brain is centralized, but the arteries and veins are highly distributed and constantly checked for localized failures.
It's where you get maximum efficiency, but also the structural resilience you need.
Precisely. Now, let's move out from that core and look at the first few rings that define life for the inhabitants. We can start with mobility.
Okay, transportation. This is high tech and it's everywhere. You have mobility happening above and below ground, self-driving cars, maglev trains.
And all sorts of land, water, and air cargo or personal vehicles.
But the unifying factor for all of them is sustainability. They all have to run on electric motors and get their energy from renewable sources.
Which is to significantly cut down on pollutant emissions.
And the sources are really clear on why this isn't just optional.
Mm-hmm.
In a world without borders, they expect a massive, just a huge increase in travel, in resettlement, and that kind of global mobility is just not sustainable with fossil fuels.
The whole system has to be zero emission to handle that. And that mobility means people can easily get what they need. Which brings us to the first functional ring, the commercial district.
Now, this is maybe the most radical zone, because our concept of commerce is just dead. This district has goods, distribution hubs, emergency services, hospitals, schools.
Restaurants, galleries, museums, cinemas. The fact that all these necessities are right there so accessible, it reflects that goal of minimizing wasted time.
But let's focus on the economic model, because it is a complete reversal of what we have now.
It is. The insight isn't just that things are free, it's the system that makes currency unnecessary.
They use the highest tech standards for localized manufacturing and recycling. This lets people access high-quality products without a price tag.
Exactly, because goods are produced based on resource availability and verified need, not profit.
So this is that resource-based economy in action.
It is. If something isn't available, you just send a request to the automated production system. It analyzes the supply chain and schedules it for production or delivery.
So consumer debt, marketing, competitive branding, all of that just becomes instantly obsolete.
Think about the psychological impact of that. If your basic needs are met, and the best quality goods are available just based on need.
Well, what is the fundamental motivation for human activity anymore?
It shifts entirely. It moves away from survival and acquisition to, I guess, contribution and personal fulfillment.
A radical restructuring of motivation, which leads us perfectly to the next ring out, the one dedicated to that kind of endeavor, the science research centers.
Right. The goal here is just pure accelerated progress, to bring about advancements in tech and our understanding of life at a scale we've just never seen before.
It's the city's innovation motor.
This ring has multiple specialized structures, all with cutting-edge equipment for every branch of science. And what's fascinating is the environment they describe.
You mean the frictionless atmosphere for research?
Exactly. Researchers can instantly connect and share data with anyone in the world. No bureaucratic interference, no national security concerns, no proprietary restrictions.
And to speed up testing, they rely heavily on complex virtual simulations, right?
They do. In the early stages, it lets them test variables thousands of times faster than real-world experiments would allow.
But this speed is balanced by some very strict ethical guidelines.
A non-negotiable rule. Experiments must be humane. They cannot cause harm to any human or animal. The quest for knowledge doesn't get to supersede ethical responsibility.
Okay, so after all that intensity, the research, the commercial ring, the design calls for something totally different, a biological component.
The metaphorical lungs of the city.
The green belt, the third ring.
This is a vital transitional space. It's just a vast field with parks, playgrounds, recreational areas, fitness equipment. It's meant to clear the air.
And provide a balance between that intense intellectual work and physical activity. It's a buffer zone.
It is. It also provides space for professional sports, maintaining that cultural and physical component of the community. It's a deliberate choice to make sure urban density doesn't mean claustrophobia.
And then finally we get to the outermost functional ring, the residential areas.
And this is where individual choice really comes into focus. You can choose between different styles of self-sufficient houses or these massive apartment complexes.
Let's talk about the houses, because the material science is a huge piece of the puzzle. They're prefabricated.
From a new type of pre-stressed, reinforced concrete with a flexible ceramic coating on the outside.
The genius there is the speed and the resilience. This stuff can be mass-produced by automated systems in just a matter of hours.
And the materials make them fireproof, impervious to weather, and extremely resistant to damage from earthquakes or hurricanes.
So the goal is to build long-term, low-maintenance structures.
And they're designed to be almost totally self-sufficient. Each one has its own thermal generators and heat concentrators. Photovoltaic arrays are built right into the skin of the building and the windows.
So they supply more than enough energy to run the home.
And they can even feed a surplus back into the grid. Plus, they're all surrounded by gardens and lakes, offering a sense of space you don't usually get in cities.
Then you have the alternative, the apartment complexes. These are massive skyscrapers built by specialized mega machines.
And they take convenience to a whole new level. They're basically micro-cities.
They contain all the everyday necessities: stores, first aid, education floors, restaurants, fitness centers, entertainment.
Yeah, the source material famously likens it to an all-inclusive stay at a high-end hotel, but you never have to leave or pay.
Which is a crucial point. By designing logistics into the living space, they eliminate all those tedious, time-consuming errands that define modern life,
Imagine the mental space that frees up.
when just running errands becomes obsolete. And that freed up time is essentially the resource this whole system is designed to generate.
Right. Moving to the very edge of the city, the outskirts are all about production. Clean energy installations, for one.
The type, like solar or wind, is just custom selected based on the geography of that specific area.
And this area also handles the advanced food production. We're talking highly efficient systems like hydroponics, aeroponics, and aquaponics.
Plus a traditional agricultural belt. But the difference is the technology. They use fully controlled environments to completely remove the need for harmful pesticides.
And maximize nutrition. It ensures fresh, high-quality food is always available.
These outskirts also provide these vast open spaces for sports, aviation, things that need room to breathe, so the city doesn't feel hemmed in.
And it's so important to remember that the circular city is just one design.
Right, in Fresco's broader vision. The sources also detail plans for underground, underwater, and even floating cities.
It's all about finding a balance between available space, population needs, and ecological preservation. It's a total systems approach that adapts.
And this isn't all just theory. The first actual steps are underway. The Center for Resource Management, a small-scale pilot project, is in development right now.
And the center has two purposes. It'll be an education facility for teaching people how to restore ecosystems.
And at the same time, it'll be the real-world testing ground for all these ideas, the logistics, the materials, the automated systems. It's meant to be a propellant for societal change.
So what we've really deep dived into today is just an astonishing scope. A society where complex information is shared instantly without borders.
Where high-quality goods are accessed without price tags, and where the entire physical infrastructure is managed autonomously by a subterranean mainframe.
It's a fully engineered utopia, and it's all centered on efficiency and problem solving.
But it demands a radical shift in human priorities. Everything about this system is designed to evolve, and evolve rapidly. Accepted innovations are implemented as soon as possible.
Which brings us to the ultimate provocative thought, the one that really underlies whether this whole vision is even viable.
If that level of rapid, evidence-based societal evolution were truly achieved, if every process was replaced the instant a better one was discovered, how would you manage the psychological challenge of continuous, fundamental, relentless change?
And what would the long-term impact be on the value of tradition? Or on personal stability, or even just the idea of a settled way of life?
Would humanity thrive under perpetual optimization? Or does the human mind require more constancy than the Venus Project actually allows for?
It's a fascinating paradox. Perfect progress versus that deeply rooted human need for stability.
Something to mull over as you reflect on this blueprint for tomorrow.